Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 331 of our Let's Grow annual challenge. Today we are continuing with our No Nonsense November, and today's tip and tool are pretty important. I learned this one the hard way, like all these lessons, right? But this one especially the hard way. And our tip today is to manage stress effectively. And I will say, I thought I was managing stress effectively, yet I had a sudden cardiac arrest and dropped dead suddenly after a city council meeting, and learned very quickly, luckily, that I was frozen and in a coma for a while, and did wake up and recover from that incident. But luckily for me, I did learn that I had a second chance to figure out how to actually manage stress effectively, not just think I was managing stress effectively. Because if you have a death experience, you're obviously not managing stress effectively. At least in my instance, there was a whole lot going on in my life, in a lot of different areas of my life. And I realized, like my dad used to tell me all the time, that our little red wagon can only hold so much without letting some of it go. And I was not letting it go. I was just bottling it all up, bottling it all up, bottling it all up till I didn't know what to do and I couldn't take it anymore. It had definitely overwhelmed me, and my threshold for the ability to handle multiple stressors that were all crushing. I call them soul crushing, because they weren't so much devastating as they were combined. The effect of them was actually being devastating to me and crushing my soul. So I learned that my soul is not crushable. It is survivable and fixable and healable along with my body. So today we're going to talk about a couple of ways to manage stress effectively. We've got our tool that was recommended. I just downloaded yesterday. I did not buy the paid version of it yet, but I got a Black Friday special offer, half off today. So I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. I started looking at it. It's a meditation, and it's got music. It's for kids. It's got millions. I think it's got millions of downloads, probably because of the free version. And then it's only, it's $70 a year to unlock the premium. And my question is, but I haven't asked it yet, is if I buy the premium, do all the ads and all the promotions go away? Because looking at the free version yesterday, I found it stressful and annoying to have all of it's trying to sell you something every time you click a button. And to me, I'm sure that's how they make a lot of money, but I find it really annoying. Excuse me. I also have a little bit of a cough and a cold. Been hanging out with the granddaughters, and they both, of course, have the runny noses because it's fall in Wisconsin, and that's what happens. And when our bodies get stressed, sometimes we have symptoms of colds. So how do we manage stress effectively? We can use this Calm app. I think I've shared several times this year and in the past several years that I use the Believe app. Coming up on a year, I think in February it launched, and it was the replacement for, and not the replacement for, because Hip Talk is still available online. I don't think that app's going away, but I stopped using it as soon as Believe came out. And I can't remember how many days I'm on now, but since day one, I've been using that app from Victoria Gallagher. Love her voice. It's now the voice in my head, which replaced my ex-husband, which was a great replacement. And now I'm working on having it just be my voice in my head. So what are some ways that we can deal with stress effectively? Number one, mindfulness helps us deal with stress effectively. If we think and break through all the emotional clutter and all the charged feelings around what's going on in any situation, we usually have a clearer picture of what's actually going on. There's always what's actually going on, and then there's how we feel about what's actually going on. And in almost every instance, at least for me personally, my reaction is based on how I'm feeling about what's happening, not what's actually happening. Because usually what's happening is not going to be the end of the world. It's not going to be the end of me, that's for sure. And it's not going to be the end of the world. It's just another challenge that's coming down the pipe, and we need to deal with it. So being mindful, being present, being focused on solutions versus focusing on the problem tends to reduce stress for me. In addition to being mindful, we want to set boundaries. We talked about boundaries a few days ago. It's important that people know where our line in the sand is, what is okay with us and what isn't okay with us, what we will and will not accept from them. Again, there's an area that I had to learn prior to my sudden cardiac arrest that I wasn't good at setting boundaries. I said yes to just about anything that people asked me because I knew I could figure out a way to get it done. But that ended up filling my little red wagon and to the point of overflowing. Then we want to incorporate relaxation into our life and our daily routines. I recommend yoga, but I'm not a very good practitioner of it. But it is an incredibly powerful way to relax. Yoga, meditation, affirmations, any positive habit, journaling, all of the things that I talk about repeatedly because they're such powerful tools and they're virtually free for anybody, any of us to do. So there's really no excuse to not be doing them. I don't have to go out and buy a $100 journal in order to start journaling. I can just sit down with a scrap of paper or an envelope or toilet paper or paper towel and start writing things down, right? I can write them on the counter. I can write them. I better not do. I won't do that. That would be silly. But you know what I'm saying? There's no excuse for not doing some of these things because there's really no excuse that there's a cost to it. I don't have the time. Guess what? We all have the same exact 24 hours in a day, and we can make excuses to not take care of ourselves, which means lowering our stress, or we can deal with the consequences that happen because we didn't do it effectively. And those are always more disruptive than had we dealt with the stress and had ways of managing stress effectively all along. My sudden cardiac arrest, in addition to costing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally money, it took me out of commission for months, right? Months of my business having to be taken care of by someone else, my life having to be taken care of, and me having to be driven around to cardiac rehab and things for months. And I'm one of the lucky ones that actually came back from that. Most people, the vast majority statistically do not come back from that event. So we want to incorporate relaxation into our everyday life and our repertoire so that we are taking care of ourselves. Self-care. I didn't even write that down. Self-care is another thing. If we don't take care of ourselves, stress will be so much more negatively impactful on us. We want to use technology wisely, right? We want to integrate technology, use technology where it makes sense. I love the Believe app because it can be running and playing in the background. I suspect this Calm app, and I suspect that there are hundreds of apps like this. So these are just a couple I've been familiar with. We've talked about several this month. Look at what works best for you. This one, Calm, seems to be a lot about sleep and reducing stress. Believe is about a lot of different areas with hypnosis. It's got a big component of hypnosis that I don't think Calm doesn't have any of that. It's just meditations and stories and music. They've got a lot of music and different beats, binaural beats and stuff. If you've ever researched any of that stuff, super duper interesting and effective. Little secret. When my kids were little and I was married to a very difficult person, I used to play different beats of music, just quietly in the background in my house all the time because it helped to lower the stress and the negative energy that was in that environment sometimes, until I was finally smart enough to separate myself from that situation. But again, wasn't very good at setting boundaries back then, and that was a huge lesson learned. We've talked about that. So today, what we're going to do, I'm going to encourage you, check out the Calm app, and if you're interested, it's half off for a year. You can always cancel it. I will say most of those, if you cancel them ahead of time, they cut you off immediately. So if you're going to do it for the year at half off, which why wouldn't you? It's $34, $35, $34.99 plus probably tax and whatever else. And they will auto renew you in a year. But I think that offer is good till like December 2nd. Again, I have nothing to do with this app. I just looked at it yesterday and this morning a little bit. I started to play something, but it was an hour. And it does things to get you to subscribe, right? It's super smart from a marketing and business standpoint, but I find it annoying as a customer. And I'm not a customer because I didn't buy it. I just downloaded the free version. But almost all apps do that now. So it's, why do I even bother getting annoyed at it? Because it's just the way they do it to market and sell their products so they can make money, so they can continue to build and expand and provide us a better product or service. At least that's the way I choose to look at it. So today, share in the comments below one way that you turn down the volume on stress in your life. One way you deal and have found to deal with stress that just works really, really well for you. Me, I like caramels. If I'm stressed out and freaking out about something, I take a deep breath, and it's probably the deep breath that's more beneficial than the caramel, but I will eat something caramel because caramel calms me down. Wearing big cozy sweaters that my sister gave me uh, are comfy and cozy and de-stressing, and they cause me to relax, be more mindful, be present, and enjoy what's going on instead of stressing out about it, because stressing out about things never really helped anything. It blocks us from making solutions. It impacts our decision-making ability. It causes us all kinds of body things that can actually kill us. How do I know? Because it happened to me. I do not recommend it. So share in the comments below one way that you deal with stress effectively, not how you don't deal with it effectively. If you tell me you go out and have 10 shots, I don't think that is the definition of effective. My humble opinion, but probably not an ongoing long-term strategy for dealing with stress. All right, that's it. Have an awesome day. If I can help in any way, ask. Holiday week here in the United States, Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday by far these days. Used to be Halloween, now it's Thanksgiving. Why? Because I have a lot to be grateful for. We all do. All right, if I can help in any way, ask. Any questions, ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day. Share your effective stress handling tip below or strategy below, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.